where the skies stretch wide and kiss the sun. The sagebrush whispers, the rivers hum. This land's a story just begun. Wyoming calls, where the heart beats free. Mountains rise and dreams run deep. Past the borders, past the sign, there's a world alive beyond the fence line. Boots hit gravel and the prairie sings with every hoofbeat. The frontier rings from ranchers' hands to miners' veins. The spirit of the West remains. Wyoming calls, where the heart beats free. Mountains rise and dreams run deep. Past the borders, past the sign, there's a world alive beyond the fence line. So come ride with me through the dust and time. Find the soul of Wyoming beyond the fence line, beyond the fence beyond the fence line, beyond the fence beyond the fence line, where the wild winds run, where the skies stretch wide and kiss the sun.
Good morning, Wyoming. Happy Monday. Hope you guys are doing well. Man, I'm finally feeling better, you guys. You guys know I've been sick a little bit. Finally feeling a little bit better this morning. Might have had something to do with getting up and running, getting my blood moving a little bit before I did the show this morning. Happy February. Wow, January is already gone. February is upon us. 1 week from today. legislative session will start here in the Capitol, and I will be going to quite a few of those sessions and trying to keep you guys filled in on what's going on in the Capitol. We got lots of stuff coming up. They've got gobs and gobs and gobs of legislative bills coming up to the legislative session, from elections to agriculture to you name it. They're talking about it, and they're supposed to do a budget at the same time. So hopefully we'll get to that. But today, hey, it's Wyoming Wind. It's Monday. We talk about everything going on in Wyoming on Mondays. Tomorrow I'll be talking about immigration, which will be cool. Those of you who wonder where I stand on immigration and ICE, that'll be a lot of fun. And on Thursday, I'm going to talk about agriculture in Wyoming, where I stand on agriculture policy and things like that. So that's going to be really fun. On Wednesday, we'll talk about all things going on in the world, Trump administration, MAGA, Congress, all that crazy stuff. And on Friday, we're going to do the Meet the Family thing. We didn't get a chance to do that last Friday because we had some sickness going around the family. So looking forward to you all meeting all of us, our whole family, on Friday. So with that, let's get into Wyoming news. What is going on in Wyoming? So as I said, budget session coming up here, February 9th. Should be a doozy. You know, we always say the next election cycle, it's the biggest one, right? Well, here we are. It's the biggest legislative session ever in Wyoming, and we're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff. The school funding debate continues as they do recalibration, which is long overdue, by the way, for Wyoming schools. But I would argue that we need to do a whole lot more than recalibration. Go back and look at my episode on education, where I talk about what we should do in education. Really, really important, you guys. We need to do a whole lot more than recalibrating the thing. And of course, they're talking about higher teacher pay and slightly larger class sizes. So, again, kind of just recalibrating, tweaking things. I think you can only mess with something that's broken so long before you have to wake up and realize you got to fix the thing, right, you guys? We got another kind of an interesting proposal coming from a lawmaker as well. I think it's an interesting idea, and I do comment in a little bit more detail in a previous episode, talking about selling, state land that's really unusable or unworkable, and selling it for homesteads, selling it to just regular people, and giving them some land to start their own lives. I think it's an interesting idea on its face. I think it needs work, but I'm more, as you guys know, if you watch my episodes, you watch how I approach things. I'm objective. I like new ideas that are outside the box. And so I think that's a really interesting idea, something for us to look at and consider. We got more people jumping into the Senate races. We got, obviously we've got at least 5 people in the governor's race now, and I expect that we will see more in the races. Interestingly enough, we don't have anybody running yet for Secretary of State or anything like that. So it'd be interesting to see who jumps in that race. I've got some ideas for that I'll share with you guys a little bit later as the time permits and as it's appropriate. What else is going on? Obviously, we're looking at defunding and dismantling the Wyoming Business Council. You can see my comments all over social media on that, and of course, reducing the UW's funding as well. And I am in favor of both of those things. And I explain my philosophy on those things. I think it's really important that you guys take a look at that when you have a chance to see where I stand on those issues. There's all kinds of stuff going on. There's other stuff going on. Some more bills going on related to, self-defense legal fees, where the state ends up having to cover your fees if, you're not found guilty, things like that. There's all kinds of stuff going on. Something that happened last week, we had a whole bunch of protests around ICE operations in Wyoming. You guys probably saw the news where people are starting to protest against ICE more physically, more in front of, blocking and or interfering with ICE operations. I want to tell you this. There is some confusion on the street what your rights are when it comes to protesting. So I just want to be really clear. You have the right to peacefully protest. That word peacefully is a really, really important word when it's put in there. That does not mean that you have the right to obstruct law enforcement or obstruct the good men and women who are keeping our communities safe and helping us, have the ability to pursue life, liberty, and happiness. So keep in mind, you have the right to peacefully protest, and I encourage you to do that. But the minute you go from peaceful to unpeaceful or not peaceful to obstruction, you are now no longer able to be protected under that peaceful protest clause. So make sure that if you're going to do that, you want your voice to be heard, do that. Have your voice heard, right, left, center, wherever you're at on these issues. Have your voice heard. Do it the right way. If you don't do it the right way, you're going to end up in the hoosgal. And that's what should happen, by the way. That's totally what should happen. What else is going on in Wyoming? There's some interesting little pieces in the news the last month, stuff like that. 11-year-old found a turtle fossil out in the greater Green River Basin. That was kind of cool. Kind of just a neat thing here in Wyoming. Of course, there's all kinds of things going on in youth sports, stuff like that. There's conversation on the wildlife environment front, talking about, different, especially like the sage grouse, like how are we approaching that? And what are we doing if we're looking at those corridors and talking about mining and things like that? So those things are heating up a lot. If you guys are interested in conservation stuff like that, not that I necessarily agree with everything that the Wyoming Outdoor Council puts out. I'm a conservationist, not an environmentalist, to be clear on that. It is interesting to follow the Wyoming Outdoor Council when it comes to things of wildlife environment related, if you have an interest in those things. And again, I don't necessarily agree with all of their approach, because I believe that we find a balance between conservation and human progression. I believe that God's given us the authority to go ahead and do well in managing and enjoying the creation and the creatures that He's given to us, while balancing, really putting humans first. What else is going on in Wyoming, you guys? I think the biggest thing right now, obviously, is the upcoming legislative session. You guys, I'm going to put a whole bunch of links in the posts, okay? A whole bunch of links below this show today. I'm putting an article where I answer the question about UW and the Wyoming Business Council. I want to encourage you to read the article, because all of the candidates, except for one, Brent, did not answer the questions, but everyone else did answer the questions. I want you to read the questions and see if you notice the difference in the different answers that the governor's candidates did. So those will be below in the comments, and those are available if you're watching on Facebook, Rumble, YouTube. You'll be able to see those in the comments, and I'll put some of those in the comments. I also putting our campaign surveys in the comments, you guys. We've got 3 campaign surveys out right now. You want to engage the campaign. You want to tell us what you want as Wyoming. This is your opportunity to get engaged, and go ahead and look at those surveys. I really, really encourage you guys to check out those surveys. It's really, really important to go ahead and do those. Hey, good morning, D. I see that you're watching. Thank you so much for watching, D. Sorry we missed you last night. Also, want you guys to be thinking about this. As this campaign season heats up, I want to encourage you to do research on all the candidates. Get to know them all. Get to know what they stand for. Ask them questions. We're going to be shifting our campaigns virtual town halls a little bit differently in order to open it up to more people in Wyoming. What we're looking at is we're probably going to do a virtual town hall every single Thursday evening. So that'll be something that you all will get to join and get to participate in. And we hope that you guys will join us for that every Thursday evening. Come every week if you want to. Come once a month if you want to. Come get to know me. We had a great time last night. We had 8 or 10 people show up to a virtual town hall. We had some great conversation about elections, about education, about principles, and things like that. And so that's what we're going to be doing. This morning, I'm trying to think of, kind of what else is on the boilerplate, right now in Wyoming. I think we're all just really, really focused on the legislative session coming up, right, you guys? I mean, that is our main focus right now, as it's starting next Monday. If some of you are happening to come to town and you're watching this, and you'd like to get together with me, I would love that. Oh, you know what? I've got a couple of local news items I think I want to cover that I was just kind of thinking about. I don't know if you guys have been following the forced annexation down here in Cheyenne, where the city of Cheyenne is forcing annexing of different areas around the city. And they've made themselves legal pathways to do this. And I don't know if you guys are following, but I want you guys to look up the story about Wyo Fresh. They have approached the city to say, hey, we're a farm and ranch stand, and pretty much been told, once we annex you, you're no longer really you're not really welcome in this city. You don't fit well with our future model. You think about property rights and freedom as we watch bureaucrats take these things away from us. Check out the issue in Cheyenne going on about administrative warrants to you guys, where they kick the can down the road, essentially knowing, you know what they're going to do. They kick it down the road so that they pass it sometime when we're just not looking, right? Not paying attention. And the people are getting tired of this. My approach to governing, if you guys elect me as governor, here's what's going to happen with me. If I have a really, really great idea for Wyoming and you, the people, say, no, that's not really what we want, Joseph, guess what my answer is going to be? Okay, let's move on. I thought it was a good idea, but I honor the will and the voice of the people. And I think that is something that is so distorted in politics these days, right? Even here in Wyoming, supposedly the most conservative and most free state in the union. Yet the voice of the people is constantly denied by politicians, by people in the echo chamber. We have got to start electing people, citizens, who are just going to go about and serve the people. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I'm going to say good morning to Dee here. She posted on our thread there. I'm going to say good morning to her on Facebook. Dee, thank you for watching. So that's kind of just a quick wrap up on what's going on in Wyoming. I will be at the Capitol next Monday after the show, be going for the opening session of the legislature. And I will definitely fill you guys in on what's going on at the Capitol as much as I can participate, sit in those sessions. And obviously I've got to get work done too. So just by recap for today, what's coming up this week? Tomorrow, you're going to hear where I stand on ICE and immigration. I know that's important to a lot of you. You're going to find out where I stand clear cut on that stuff. Wednesday, we're going to do world news like we do every Wednesday. We're going to talk about last week. I encourage you to go watch my show from last Wednesday where I expose the betrayal that Congress is doing towards the people of Wyoming. Just a true betrayal. Congress funded everything they said they were not going to fund. In the end, you know what? I say shut the thing down. If you got to shut the thing down so we don't have to fund, they're funding the Department of Education at a higher level than ever. I thought a year ago, I thought we were going to get rid of that institution. I thought we were going to dismantle it. I guess not. Instead, we're funding it at record levels. But they didn't just fund that. They funded $5 billion for refugees. They funded foreign countries and their wars. They funded the endowment of the arts for $200 million. They funded, everything. So go look at my show last week if you want to learn about what's happening in Congress, because that's what we do on Wednesdays. On Thursday, so I'm going to do immigration and agriculture this week. So tomorrow is going to be where I stand on immigration. Thursday is going to be where I stand on agriculture. What's going on in Wyoming agriculture? What's hurting Wyoming agriculture? Why are we losing so many small ranches, farms, things like that? We're going to have that conversation. Just a real honest, fact-based conversation about that. And then finally, Friday, I'm really looking forward to you guys. I'm going to have the whole family on, and I'm going to tell you guys my testimony, my story, my journey, how I got here. But you're also going to meet the wife and the kiddos. They'll hang out with us for the show, and we'll have some fun with that on Friday. So really looking forward to all the shows this week as well, you guys. And hope that if you guys see these shows, that you guys will begin to share this message with your friends in Wyoming, your community groups on Facebook, social media. Start sharing this message across Wyoming. Because I tell you what, the more we can get the message out, the more people we have involved. And it's not, you guys, for me, it's not about money. If you know me, it's not about money and fundraising. It's about people. If you're good at something, I want you to do that in the campaign if you're interested in being involved. If you like social media, you do that. If you like being at events, you do that. If you like volunteer management or fundraising, you do that. And it's all about us working together because it does take a village to get this done. But with that, I think we're going to wrap this show up probably just a little bit early because it's just kind of like highlights of what's going on in Wyoming, what's coming up on the show. Also, you guys probably noticed we're going to be doing the show at 7:30 on weekdays now, but they will also rerun in the evening between 6 and 8 o'clock. So you will have the opportunity most days to view this show in the evening as well. But also, these shows do record to our channels. So you guys can go to our YouTube channel, our X channel, our Facebook channel, our Rumble channel, and you can watch these episodes if you haven't had time to watch them. Or if you have an issue that you have a question about, where does Joseph stand on that? I probably have made a video that you guys can watch and kind of learn on that. So with that, you guys have a really, really blessed week. We're into February. Can't believe it. First month of the year all the way. Oh, by the way, I started my New Year's resolutions today. So a month late, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to get up, get my exercise, eat well, live well, make sure I've got balanced time with my family, all that good stuff. So with that, you guys have a blessed day. Thanks for the engagement. Oh, D, I see your comment there. It just popped up for me. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. A lot of times, a lot of us do feel like we are just here for the sake of being part of the machine, being controlled, paying taxes, and keeping our mouths shut. Well, it's time for us to stop keeping our mouths shut. It's time for us to speak up. It's time for us to stand up. So with that, God bless you guys. Have a great week. I'm going to go. Let's see what song I'm going to play today. You know what? I'm going to play the song, closing song here today. We're going to play Love Them More. Actually, we're going to play Love Them More today. This is a great song that I really, really like that we made for the campaign. And so with that, you guys take care.
Sun up shining on a gravel drive, Granddad's coffee in a styrofoam cup. Says, boy, this world will tell you keep what's yours, but that ain't how we were brought up. We bow our heads at the table, thank the Lord for the food and the fight, 'cause loving folks who love you back is easy, but that ain't walking in the light. Love your neighbor, mow his yard when he's hurting. Love your brother when he's slamming your door. Love the stranger when your pride says ignore him. Love the bitter heart twice what you did before. You can love your friends on Sunday morning, but Jesus taught a different kind of war. If you really want to shake this world for heaven, love your enemies more. Yeah, love your enemies more. She's got a Bible with a cracked little spine, highlighter on every other page. Says turn the other cheek, ain't just a slogan, it's a narrow road you gotta pave. We pass the plates and the casseroles, fix the porch where the storm goes through. When they curse your name, you hit your knees, say Father bless them like you do. Love your neighbor, mow his yard when he's hurting. Love your brother when he's slamming your door. Love a stranger when your pride says ignore him. Love the bitter heart twice what you did before. You can love your friends on Sunday morning, but Jesus taught a different kind of war. If you really want to shake this world for heaven, love your enemies more. Yeah, love your enemies more. She's got a Bible with a cracked leather spine, highlighter on every other page. Says turn the other cheek, ain't just a slogan, it's a narrow road you gotta pay.
You pass the plates and the casseroles, fix the porch when a storm rolls through. When they curse your name, you hit your knee,
Say Father bless them like you do.
Whoa. I need to go back to the vaccines. My opinions. Restoration.